Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and with me is Joe. And we're going to have others joining us soon. Nick should be joining us any minute now. So, yeah, tonight I figured we cover. We keep on going with some other horror, like summer horror movies, and we've covered I Know What You Did Last Summer. We've covered Jaws 2, and now we're covering a big cult classic, Sleepaway Camp, and this came out in 1983.
Yeah, that was a good year.
Oh yeah, I wasn't there to see it, but
Wait,
I'm
you
sure it
wouldn't
was. I mean,
know, would you?
I wouldn't know. No, I know my parents got married that year, so
Wow. So
yeah,
then it was a
so
good year. See, if parents didn't get married, you wouldn't exist.
right. Hey, how's it going, Thomas? Hey, Santi. Hey, Leon. Yeah. So yeah, Sleepaway Camp. This was made during the big slasher craze of the '80s, which was sparked by Halloween, and then we had Friday the 13th. We've had Nightmare on Elm Street movies that were like those were like majority of the sequels were coming out throughout the '80s. And oh, here we have Chris.
Yay.
Hey, Chris. Good to see
Hey,
you. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, okay, I was wondering if your mic was on.
Yeah.
Of
I'd
any
make
Definitely had the
movie I've
most.
ever seen.
Oh yeah, definitely had the most original and shocking ending of any movie I have seen. Oh, I yes. The weird, crazy thing is that the that twist ending there. I never got to experience that surprise because it was ruined for me. Well, when I was about 12, watching this. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the hit Adult Swim series Robot Chicken, created by Seth Green, right? Yeah,
I've
Seth
seen it,
Green.
but I've
Yeah,
never watched it.
Oh yeah, Seth Green created the show and did a whole lot of the voice acting. You know, Seth Green from Austin Powers. Yeah, like that's and he's the voice of Chris Griffin in Family Guy. But yeah, they did a
That's
skit
that
where
one
they were.
that is that like redheaded one that was in that
Yes,
70s show, like for
yes,
an episode or two.
yep.
Oh
That's
yeah,
him.
that's the guy. Every time I see him, I just wanna. I feel like I've just gotta punch him or something. Well, anything that involves
do
that,
it?
yeah, that's. I knew that name sounded familiar. No,
Uh,
I
You'll
don't
get
like
Woolworth
that.
from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yeah.
I just
So
don't like him for some reason. He just gives, you know, my fist just wants to hit him. It
yeah,
does.
but
I can't explain it.
yes, and yeah, he was yeah. So there was in Robot Chicken, they did a segment where they did parodies of all these different twist endings of Hollywood movies, including The Crying Game, The Village. But then they showed the twist ending from from Sleepaway Camp, a movie that I was wanted to see later on in life. Well, when I got older, you know, able to watch R-rated movies. So they ruined that ending for me, and I'm he ruined that ending for me, and I'm just like, damn you, Seth Green.
And ever since then. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Seth Green was all. Yep, he was in it. That's right. He was a child
Yep.
actor. Beep beep, Richie. Beep beep, Richie. Never watch. Hey, especially the car sauce. Good to see you.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, this film had quite a lot going for it because you know how like all kinds of teen horror movies they just had adults playing teenagers, but no, these teenagers were legit. They actually had kids from like I think the age range as far as the campers in this was about 12 to 17.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, and
I was reading a little bit on it today.
oh yeah, and it was the film debut for let's see what was her name Felissa Rose, who played Angela, and let's see it also had Jonathan Tiersten. He was about 17 at the time, and Felissa Rose was 13, and they ended up actually dating while making this movie. Funny enough.
That's fun.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's like this movie was just chock full of so many crazy things. Like it has had a pretty dark intro, like where it was there was like a
Yes.
empty camp. There was like a completely empty Camp Arawak, which is where the movie takes place, completely shut down and abandoned. And you hear like the echoes. You hear like voices of like kids having fun and whatnot. Like you just basically hear like the past of what that place used to be, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Well, when it starts out and it shows that accident that happened to begin with.
Yeah. And
Right.
I don't. I just can't help. I just can't help but feel that accident could have been avoided. I mean, they were like driving. They were looking back at the kid water skiing. Yeah,
Which is stupid in the first place. When you
Yeah.
got two people in the boat, one should be watching the skier and one should be watching where they're going.
Exactly. The driver should be watching where they're going. The passenger should keep it
like common sense.
Yeah, I mean, because me and my family, we have been on the lake many times. We've done we've been on the lake many times. Whenever you drag someone like behind, the driver's supposed to pay attention to where they're going at all times.
At all times, and if you've got an extra person in the boat, they should be watching back. You know, but no.
But no, they end up.
But they wouldn't make a movie if that would have happened.
and they weren't even out there. They were. I don't think they were even out there like stoned or drunk or anything.
No,
you know, those kids those at the beginning. You know, it was a father and his two kids.
Yep. Then they off. Oh yeah. Then they off the father into one of the kids, and then then it jumps. Then after that shocking scene, it jumps forward 8 years later, where the surviving kid, Angela, and is now living with their aunt Martha and her cousin Ricky. And I gotta say,
Did you say
when I first saw Martha was her name.
Did you say Martha?
Yeah. But I don't know, like when I first saw that I felt like there was something off about Aunt Martha, just the way she was talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, we wouldn't want them to leave without us. No, I'm afraid that wouldn't do.
Yeah, she was a whack job.
Yeah, I was like, what was that?
What I mean, what the hell? I mean, she come out of the 1920s or something, or
I know it has that kind of vibe to her.
I read the director.
Like totally weird.
Totally off subject, but I read the director only was able to make this movie, or the producer or whatever, because he got a large sum of inheritance. And that's the only way he was able to make this movie. Yeah.
Well, they
whether true or not,
boundaries. You know, the other thing, the one head cook.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh my! Oh, you mean Artie?
He was a sick bastard.
He was. He absolutely was. And yeah, God, like that. I mean, just that scene also proved that Ricky, he was a great cousin to Angela. Like intervened. It's like even though he kind of got roughed up by the guy, like he managed to stop Angela from being molested by that creep. And I'm just like, the moment he intervened and they got away, I was just like, thank God, thank Moses, thank everything holy, thank it.
Yeah. Everything holy, yeah, exactly.
Yes, thank even the fictional stuff. Thank Zeus, thank Thor, thank Poseidon. Thank all of it.
but I still think he should have got worse.
He did get it bad though. Like
I know, but not bad enough.
Oh,
he got hauled off to the hospital. I mean,
yeah,
considering he was probably one of the only few survivors of her.
He also could have been he also could have been blinded by that boiling water. So there's that too. He could have been disabled for the rest of his life from having because for context, that sicko Artie, the head cook, was he was tending to some corn inside of a gigantic super tall boiling pot. Did you see that thing?
Yeah.
And then the unseen killer pushes him forward, so he's holding on, trying to not to fall off. But then the killer grabs the chair from underneath, forcing him to fall down and take that huge pot of boiling water with him, splashing it all over himself, revealing these burns and amazing practical effects, by the way.
Oh, and then but this was also after he salted that water too. So this water had a salt content, which is going to irritate those wounds even more.
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely
true.
Oh yeah, I just love the bubbling, the pulsating blisters that were on his face. Those were good effects.
Toasty.
Yep. Toasty. No. It's pronounced like this in Mortal Kombat. Toasty.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I think Ed Boon did that voice too. Whenever that popped up, that Toasty bit popped up. Yeah, he will. I mean, he was playing Scorpion, so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Mortal Kombat, I love it. But Anyway, yeah. So he was hauled away with like to the hospital with completely covered in bandages and screaming in agony. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what you get, you freaking creep.
Karma has this.
Yeah,
and sense of humor too.
Yeah, like half the counselors in this movie seem sick because like there was that one that one other cook, Ben, I believe his name was, who like was laughing at some comments that that Artie was making about the kids, and I'm just like, dude, what is going on with this camp?
Yeah,
but it's also worth noting that that Ben is played by Robert Earl Jones, who is the father of James Earl Jones.
Wow.
Yeah, James Earl Jones, Mufasa from The Lion King, and the iconic voice of Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Yes,
it's Darth Vader. No, I'm kidding.
And yeah, I think I'm trying to think if James Earl Jones is still acting. I know that he's retired. I mean, he's either retired from the role of Darth Vader. I know he has done that, but I don't know if he's stopped acting overall. But regardless,
he passed away.
James Earl Jones?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I didn't see that announced. Here, let me look it up. James
I'll look it up.
Earl Jones.
You keep talking.
Hang on. Nope, he's still alive. 93 years old.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, he's lived a long time.
Good for him.
Let's see. And I also saw in the news that he has given permission to have like an AI of his voice, to use for Darth Vader for any future Star Wars projects. So
I appreciate that.
So,
that's probably because he's old and you don't want.
Instead of going somebody else, and then it sounds different too.
Right.
Yes. He's got a hell of a resume.
He does.
Yeah.
I also love. Thank you for pointing this out, especially to Carter Sauce. I also loved him in Sandlot. Now that is a summer movie. I love Sandlot.
Come on, America. We got the Big Mac. You got the Big Mac.
Yep. And if those of you who say they haven't seen Sandlot, you're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, but there was also there was like a lot of like kids trying to like really get together in this like romantically. Be like there was there was Ricky who wanted Judy, who was like who they were together like the previous year apparently, and then he was excited because Judy had hit puberty, and but it kind of backfired on him because she was only had her eyes on the older boys on the camp, and she was like arguing with him saying, girls mature faster than you boys. And I'm like, as much as I hate that character Judy, as much as I loathe her, she's actually not wrong there. Girls actually do mature faster, mentally than boys do.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I say that as a younger brother of two older sisters. They did mature faster than I did. Mentally, emotionally, all that.
Yes. Yeah. Two older sisters here too.
Hey, how's it going, Billy? I think Friday the 13th was better than this movie. Well, yeah, I mean, this movie is up there with Friday the 13th as far as summer horror films. So,
and one of the first ones with a twist ending too.
Yes. Hey, Tom, good to see you.
Hey, Tom, I got your shirt on again.
There. And Bill. Yes, I remember that scene, that baseball scene. That was like that was definitely a guy scene. All of us kids who just love playing baseball. I was just like, we can relate to this totally. That reminds me of all the times when me and my buddies played baseball when we were teenagers.
Some of the stuff that they were wearing. I mean, my God, I lived during the 80s, and I don't know where some of these people were that came up with some of these guys wearing the short shorts and
I know.
I mean, we had cut up most, being around like Wisconsin stuff, we grew up, we had shorts, but we had like cutoffs. We, our jeans got holes in them. We'd make shorts out of them.
Yeah.
But never go to that extent.
I know. Like that one,
the half shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to tank tops and
hey, those cutoffs or those short shorts and those cutoff half shirt things were like a style here in the 80s down in this area.
I was playing up being on tonight, just had a heck of a day. Now trying to get rid of. Oh, I understand, Tom. Hey, don't worry, Tom. You just focus on getting better. That's all. That's all. It's all good. Hey, I know allergies. Hey, believe me, I know that too well. These weather changes sometimes take its toll on me too. So,
freaking brown bottle flu. Oh,
yeah.
Just kidding, Tom.
First time seeing this was around Whoa, 9 years old when you watch this?
Wow.
Every time the score kicked in, I crept around the corner. Oh, yeah. Yeah, some kids do that. I mean, I saw Evil Dead when I was 10. I saw Jaws when I was 5. So, I mean, hey, if anything, that's childhood right there. Watching things you're not supposed to watch.
Oh, I did that a lot. I mean,
whenever HBO came out, I started watching them. They were on every time for my birthday. So I'd have my birthday party, and it was like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street every time. So that was like our thing.
Oh, yeah. And now you can watch all that on your phone, HBO
Max.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And yes, I still call it HBO Max. I refuse to call it Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Billy is saying, Don, can you say what the twist ending is? Oh, yeah. We were going to discuss that, but later on. But yeah, we might as well say now. The twist ending is that the killer is unseen, right, for the majority of the film, almost until the very end, right? And then turns out the killer was Angela the entire time, who was, deeply disturbed, especially after that accident. But also, there's a further twist to it. Angela turns out to be Peter, the brother who survived. The real Angela was dead, but the Aunt Martha was raising Peter as Angela because, like Aunt Martha said, she already has her boy Ricky, so she wanted a girl. So she basically forced, him to force Peter to grow up as a girl.
Holy LGBTQ.
and saying like the transgender was a thing in this, but thing is, it's like the way what's messed up. The one thing that I feel that I have a problem with is that she basically forced the boy to grow up as a girl, taking like basically making the decision for him. That's just insane.
Yeah, but wait a minute now. I got something, see, because I don't agree with that analogy. Okay, here's where I'm gonna fight you on this. All right, because at this point, okay, she only says that once. The Ricky's mom.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the beginning, we don't know if that's the case. Now, here's the other thing that could be. It could be some kind of deeper mental thing. And think about it. It's like, he's trying to avenge his sister over her death, or he couldn't cope with it, so he developed multiple personality.
That could be.
Or he was like, and he was like, okay, I'm Peter the boy, and I'm also, the girl. So so it made like the perfect cover for him, or it made the mental thing. You understand why he was like struggling and then screwing everybody that was,
we've seen Peter,
making fun of him or her, or making every time somebody made fun of them or lashed out at Ricky or something like that, somehow revenge was taken.
Yeah. I always thought she was just driven mad by the and like that Peter, like when it came to Angela, was just driven insane by that crazy aunt that she had.
Crazy aunt. They said something about seeing somebody hugging somebody when they were little. And
I mean, hey, I have nothing against
it could all be, but I'm just saying there's that survivor's guilt thing there that could have really fucked everything up, because you got to think about that. That was a traumatic accident. Both the father and the sister died.
Right.
And he saw it all happen.
Yes. I mean, and the whole transgender aspect that people are saying in the comments here, like, I mean, I have nothing against that transgender. It's just like the way that the aunt like forced that on Peter. Well, that I felt like was an issue, because it's like you're taking away his choice in like gender identity, and that's messed up.
And back then it wasn't really thought of. So
yeah. And in the next films, the sequels, Angela like had a Peter had had a sex change and became Angela, like took on that identity. And what's pretty awesome though is that she's played by Pamela Springsteen, and if the name Springsteen sounds familiar, it's because she's the younger sister of the boss, Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce.
Yeah, I like Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, the boss.
The boss.
On that way for a reason.
Oh, yeah. And that was like, and there were like a few ideas about how they were going to portray like those ending shots where Angela, or Peter as Angela just stands there completely nude, and like then they discover, oh wait, Angela was a boy the whole time, was Peter that whole time. At first, I looked at some behind the scenes of this, and they had at first they had this idea where Felissa Rose, who played Angela in this, have her like put on a strap on to make her like, and I'm just like, yeah. And of course, a lot of people were saying no way, especially her parents. Like her mom was like working with her on set, right? And yeah, she was like, yeah, there's no way we're gonna allow a 13-year-old girl to wear that. No,
right? No,
and so they're all. So what they did in the end was they took an actor who's anonymous now. He I guess he was like a crew member who they picked to do this, and he just was very reluctant, but was paid to do it anyway. So he just stood there with this mold that they made of Felissa Rose's face, like going like this. Yeah, and then it was like, yeah, they created this mold and made like this very fragile like glass mask out of it, and just put it on him and have him just stand there nude.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's never, and nobody knows who he is. Like after this film, he just never came out publicly about that. He never let himself be known. Like he just, yeah.
I was the genitals for the end of Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
Would you admit that? Yeah, you probably would, Chris.
I'd admit it. It's a movie credit. What the hell?
Yeah,
might not be a big one, but it's still a movie credit.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm going to stop you there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, like here I have the trailer for a Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, nice.
Just to remind everybody here.
Go away.
What?
I'm
talking to his dog.
Puppy.
Oh, I gotcha. Hang on, let me load it up here. What? Hang on, friggin' ads.
Yep. Are we getting Nick tonight, ever? Or?
I'm hoping so. I mean, he's supposed to be here.
I know Kate said she was going to be late, and Tom just was.
Yeah.
Kate should be here any minute. She said about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Here.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at a sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks, and I'm getting very scared.
Welcome to Sleepaway Camp. Someone is watching you.
Hey, Baba, remote!
Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death.
Turn the wheel!
Sleepaway Camp. You won't be coming home.
What's up, guys?
Nothing.
I think your mic's muted, Don.
It's still muted, Don.
Yeah, I was saying, look who finally decided to show up. My co-host.
Nick finally showed up.
Working out.
Half hour late. He's on.
I was working out. I was at the park center. I've been needing to had to schedule that.
Oh, I got you. I got you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. It was a good workout.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just had my workout earlier today, so I know how that is. But yeah, so we were just discussing that twist ending.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and how messed up I think that the Aunt Martha is by basically forcing like Peter to live his life as a girl, like basically taking away his choice at gender identity. Like it's like I have nothing against the transgender people, but it's just that the way that she did it, taking away his choice on it, like that's messed up.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, it's just, and the fact too that unfortunately, the reality is there's obviously some issues like that out there where people preferred a girl instead of a boy or vice versa. It's insane. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like that. But I gotta say that made for a good twist ending. But even though they had to put an unknown crew member through that, like have to wear that Angela mask and stand there nude, and to this day he's remained anonymous. He's never come forward about that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, really.
Oh, and look.
Oh, Kate.
What's up,
Hey.
Kate?
Hey, Kate.
How are you?
Doing well.
Doing great. How about you?
Late. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. No worries.
Don't worry, Kate. I was late too.
Did I miss much? What
Everything. No, I'm kidding.
It's all good. But yeah, we're talking about a cult classic, Sleepaway Camp from 1983.
Yes, I didn't manage to watch it, but I did watch bits of it and the trailer.
That's what we were just watching it literally just a minute ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. And yeah, and we were just talking about that whole twist ending. I know since you haven't seen the movie, we're not going to discuss it while you're, with you. I want you to see the movie for yourself for that.
I don't mind if you want to spill the beans. Like I love a good twist.
I was going to say, if Jeremy was on right now, Don, he would say he wouldn't care.
Yeah. So yeah, the twist ending of this is that there was a girl that was super shy, like getting harassed by all the kids and counselors, named Angela, and then was being protected by her cousin Ricky, and she was like the survivor of a boat accident that took away her father and her brother's lives 8 years prior. But it turns out that Angela was in fact the boy who survived. That the real Angela had died. But the aunt that was raising Peter was raising her as Angela because she wanted a daughter and not a second son.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I mean,
basically forcing a gender identity on him.
See, I've always heard
that's a lot.
Yeah, see, I've heard this from a documentary, but they say Sleepaway Camp. You talk to kids who've seen that movie, and there's one thing that they will always tell you. And I swear to God, I'm still convinced to this day, especially with that ending, it is to this day one of the most unbelievable, literally, holy shit moments.
It was one of the first twists ever. So.
Yeah, because here. It was the Crying Games. They did the exact same, a very similar twist, where it was revealed that the woman was a guy, and there was some.
Oh, sorry, Don. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so we were just discussing how there was the way they portrayed this ending was like have an unknown like male it was like a crew member stand like nude with a mask of Angela that they crafted from Felissa Rose's face.
Oh my goodness! What is this film like?
Yeah, it was.
Damn.
It's got some pretty crazy things to it, and to this day, that actor has never come forward. He's remained anonymous.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay, I definitely have to watch this film. It kind of reminds me of that film with Antonio Banderas. It was a Spanish film, and it was something like this Skin I'm In or something. And it's like, have you seen that where he kidnaps his daughter's killer, and he turns him into a woman? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, I'll send it to you. It's well messed up.
Yeah,
but it's really good.
Like the way these there were like several camp people that were in charge of the camp who had their eyes on children in the most sick way imaginable. Like we were just talking, Nick, earlier about the cook Artie, who was targeting Angela, but then he ended up getting his comeuppance by having a big gigantic pot of boiling water on him.
But that was after Ricky saved her.
Yeah, after Ricky saved her. Now Ricky he's a good cousin.
Yeah.
I always see Sleepaway Camp it's like we know exactly right from the start, for the most part, who the killer is. But what we don't know is exactly what is this person, if it makes sense. Because like I said, it has such a twist ending to it.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and the kills in this were pretty brutal.
Yep.
They had some pretty brutal ones. Let's see. The one that was that I knew we were going to make fun of this one, Nick, but one of the counselors,
thinking of it.
where one of the counselors who was not nice to Angela or Ricky was in the bathroom stall, and the window behind him opened and a beehive was pushed into there. So he basically just went out Nicolas Cage style.
He was allergic to him.
Yeah, not the base. Oh God. Aaron Miller, I guess. Oh, I see.
God.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, now I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was just for later, like the film. It's a really good film.
Oh, The Skin I Live In.
Sounds very similar, like, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Quite messed up.
Oh, yeah. And
Not the beast. Sorry.
And there was that guy that was in charge of the whole camp named Mel. He was
Mel.
I think he was like trying to get with this which a girl who was definitely underage named Meg. Yeah, who looked like she probably what do you think, Nick? What she was like? She looked like 16.
At least.
At least, yeah. So yeah, pretty messed up people were in charge of this camp. So after watching this film, it has me convinced I'm never sending my kids to camp. Ever.
No,
I went to camp myself.
No,
I mean, not one of those type of sleepaway camps, but I'm pretty sure when I was going to camp, we didn't have those kind of people.
Yeah. So, and the actor who played him, I'm trying to think of his name. The actor who played Mel. Who was it? Oh yeah, the Mike Kellen, I think his name is. He actually was sick. I actually researched him. He was actually sick with lung cancer at the time this movie was being made, like terminally ill. But yeah, he just kept that to himself, and he ended up dying like a few months before the movie came out.
Oh jeez,
that made me laugh.
What? Oh, I was thinking, wait, what are you? I was thinking, wait a minute, what are you smiling for, Kate? I'm talking about a guy with cancer. I'm like, wait, what?
No, we're not laughing at it.
Okay, all right.
Did you have to post that right then? Like seriously, that was such a serious moment.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I do have a serious face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, that's rough. But
so he's no longer with us.
No, he died in 1983 before the movie came out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Let's see. Like, he had a pretty brutal death too. Like he had like I mean, maybe it was one of the least brutal actually. Like he had like a narrow arrow like went through his neck, which they did amazing practical effects to make that possible. The practical effects were one of the best things about this movie.
That was probably the quickest of all the deaths, it's just right through his Adam's apple.
Right. Yeah. But
this movie, killer.
Yeah, this movie did have a lot going for it, because I'm guessing like the kids who worked on this film, like, that's the thing. Like this movie that had actual kids, like, acting in it.
Yep.
And, and they must have had a lot of fun, like, with this, like not just making the movie, but just feeling like they're in an actual camp, because this was made in an actual camp, like in Argyle, New York.
Well, let me tell you guys something, and this is actually something that Sleepaway Camp inspired me to do several years ago, and not just Sleepaway Camp. Many of these slasher films from the late 70s and early to mid 80s. I actually at one point did try making my own slasher film, and back in high school, and we had we had obviously the best type of blood effects we had. And just like Sleepaway Camp, I used because again, I was still in high school myself. I actually did use like actual kids in this film. Unfortunately, however, this film will never see the light of day, because the guy that actually helped me with the film and actually played the killer in the film. First of all, we never finished the entire movie, but more importantly, and even up 15 years later, it still pisses me off to this day. But he had a friend of his who took the camera that had all the footage, with my friend not even getting the footage off the computer, off his camera. And this guy ended up stealing his camera and sold it for drugs. So that movie will never see a light of day.
I agree with Don.
Yeah, it was. I to this day, I still can't tell you how much I was yelling at my friend at the time about how bad this was. Because my first thought was, I'm thinking, are you serious? Like, geez, we're going to have to shoot this all over again? But that never happened, unfortunately.
Let's shoot it. Let's do it, Nick.
Yeah.
Let's do it this summer. Yeah.
Coming next summer.
I was using actual high school students for. I don't know if I get the chance again.
I don't know. But, yeah, I like how...
Well, maybe I'll have to come up with a new concept, Nick.
Yeah. It's like...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And, yeah, what's crazy, this film is kind of realistic as far as... kids who who are like falling in love, like or having like feelings for one another, like in this, because that actually does happen in real life. That's like how my cousin Allie, like how she met her husband Zach. They actually met in a summer acting camp because
Cool.
they both been in movies. Allie's been in American Reunion and is now
Cool.
and has been in Neighbors and is now in that hit Amazon Prime series, The Baxters.
Wow.
And
Nice.
yeah, I think and you know what they did at their wedding reception? This was in Santa Monica. You know what they did? They actually at the wedding reception they had a tattoo artist over there giving people tattoos.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
cool.
Oh wow, that's memorable.
Yeah,
I thought you could say they reenacted Three's Company or
yeah.
something.
Zach got
Three's
one or two. Yeah. Oh god. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Zach. Yeah. So Zach ended up getting like one or two of them. So yeah, and as and like. And obviously because I was not able to do it. I just couldn't do it, especially with my parents there, knowing that they would have had an aneurysm if they saw me getting a tattoo. Oh my god! And I think I actually do have a picture. Hang on.
I want to ask though, Don, if you could have any tattoo, what would you get? Would you get Godzilla or?
I have no idea because
Jaws.
here's the thing. Yeah, here's the reason why I wouldn't get a tattoo. Here's the thing. Because what if this is a tattoo that you end up not wanting later? Because once the tattoo's on, it's on.
It's on.
Yeah. Like, what if it's something that I end up regretting later on? Because then I would be blowing more money in an attempt to get it removed, which wouldn't 100% work.
That's why you need to, when you decide to get a tattoo, you need to put a lot of thought into it, okay? And make it mean something to you.
Like
not
what are
anybody
those
else.
mom tattoos?
I got one.
I've got 3 of them, and 2 of them you can readily see, on my forearm.
I did notice that.
Okay.
What you got, Joe? What you got?
And then there's that one there. But I've also got one on my shoulder as well.
Oh, wow.
You're on.
Okay.
Let's just do
But
this.
all of these have meanings. All right. This one's a wolf howling I had a blue moon, and I was in a garage one day with my buddy, and I just turned 40, and I'm going, oh. And my daughter calls me and says, there's a blue moon outside. Well, then I said, well, that's my first tattoo. And that was my first one. But I didn't get it finished because I didn't have enough money. So it was supposed to also say survivor arched across the moon because I survived leukemia. Right. Then the dagger's got a hidden message, or the sword has got a hidden message. It's got the initials TCB in it.
Taking care of
TCB for taking care of business.
Oh wait, hang on. Let me see that.
Right behind you.
Wow.
TCB for taking care of business.
Oh, that's
what I got.
cool.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say like you pulled the sword out of the
And
sword in the
the
coin and
taking
you're
care
like
of business is
descendant.
also back here. See?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, and just
And
for
this one,
Oh.
it's a royal flush, and it says "Life's a Gamble" in the ribbon below it.
oh wow,
So it's all got to do with basically surviving the cancer that I survived and all the shit that I've gone through.
wow, that's bold. That's noble.
So
that's
you see,
nice.
all those things have got a lot of meaning. So I'll have no regrets.
Right.
Way down the road.
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Aw.
But just for context, Braxton, I know you just joined us just now, but we were talking about how my cousin Allie, met her husband like when they were in a summer acting camp when they were kids, and then they just met as adults and got married now of a kid. But we were talking about how at their wedding reception they had a tattoo artist, and Zach was getting a tattoo, and I was just like, yeah, no way I'm doing that, especially with my parents there. They'd have an aneurysm from that.
So you'd never get a tattoo done?
I don't think so. I just don't really see much reason to.
Joe, I can kind of relate to that because I'm sure you've seen on my uniform, I also have a TCB patch of my own, but obviously in the form of patches though, instead of a tattoo.
Oh, here.
Right.
Oh, that picture?
Yeah, that's them.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
Yeah, that's me. There's Allie. Right next to her is my
look,
sister
Don
Liz.
cleans up pretty nice, don't he?
Yeah, he cleans up nice.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I always did like that in my suit.
That's nice.
Very
Big
dapper.
old Tom. Big old
Hi,
Tom's
Big Old
mouse.
So yeah, Nick, Tom wanted to join. Wanted to join us, but he's has some kind of a sinus headache or something that he's trying to take care of.
Oh.
So
Hope
yeah,
he gets
so
better.
I hope so too. So yeah, Tom. Yeah, like I said, Tom,
Get better, Tom.
just feel well soon. Yeah, get better soon.
Drink
Yeah,
plenty of pickle juice.
It really does help.
Of course.
I know you're joking, but it does help. Would Nick get a tattoo ever?
I've actually asked myself that question sometimes when it comes to tattoos. I'm not sure, honestly. I think, honestly, my patches are probably the closest thing to a tattoo that I'll have. Although I once did say, and I know I'm kind of going down the biker road, but I know like some of the clubs, sometimes they get almost like a replica of their patches, like tattoo versions on their backs. That's what I would get. But of course, the problem is that first, it'd be a lot of work to do. Obviously, it would hurt like hell for a while, especially if you're getting the rockers and the center part on your back. And third, and most importantly, I mean, with that amount,
they don't hurt.
Well, no, it's not. It's most importantly, I mean, it would be
hurt. It didn't hurt when I got my tattoos. No.
When you get the amount of, you got the small tattoos, but
actually, it depends on. It depends on one, your tolerance of pain. Okay, and I've got a pretty high tolerance of pain.
Okay,
but it also you got to realize that if they went, this one hurt like hell. All right, the cards, the royal flush, because they went across the veins, and some of those areas are pretty tender.
Ooh,
okay.
Man.
Now you think about going across the chest to the back where you've got like the rib cage and the spine.
Got one on my sternum.
That might hurt like hell.
That's what I'm talking about. So
but I barely felt the one on my shoulder or up here on my shoulder because that's all muscle there.
Yeah. See, I got one on my sternum.
Or this. And this one, I only felt when on the dagger. I only felt when they got down to and was doing work down in the point.
Well, see,
otherwise I didn't really feel it at all.
See, and I'll even zoom in. So, like to get a replica,
yeah, you got one on your shot.
Like this on my back. The rockers in the centerpiece.
Yeah, that might hurt like hell.
It
would. That would be expensive.
That's actually what I was about to get to. The third and most important thing is. It would be expensive as hell to have that much ink added onto my back.
I would imagine, man.
So it would be a lot of pain and a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So unless there's some safer way, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the other
here. Hey, Nick.
You're better off with the leather vest anyways. Because
my patches are
you can always take it off.
Better. I enjoy the patches more than tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Nick, even though it's like I feel terrible for like the actor who had died from that lung cancer, but there was absolutely nothing to really like about his character, to be honest.
Yeah, he was kind of unlikable guy for the most part.
He is pretty much a scumbag. He was like trying to cover up the killings, like even after when the guy turned over the canoe and there was Kenny's body laying there, and it's like, oh my god, they killed Kenny.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Mel would have said, there, it was just an accidental death. He was just trying to cover up all these killings. I'm like, hey, it's okay, Mel. Since Kenny died in the water, all you have to do is get a hold of the mayor. He'll back you up and say it was a boating accident.
Yeah.
Well, in the end, Kenny always comes back though.
But then later on, it's like, just when you think that's bad enough, later on he was trying to have a dinner date with Meg, who's definitely underage.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
At that point, at that point, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how many pedophiles are there in this camp?
Yeah,
I don't care if it's consensual or not. That's creepy as hell.
It is.
I was wondering whoever wrote the script must have had a bad experience at camp as a kid.
Well, either that or
You
they
know,
heard.
if you think about it, because it seems like all of those, almost every one of those counselors or cooks or, you know, they were all kind of like pedophiles and perverts and
Yeah.
real deviants.
There are
Helsinki.
stickos like that out
You
there.
know,
It could be that, or it could be that he heard stories about that happening and just wanted to like do this as like his shot at them. You know.
Yep.
who
Take down
knows?
those kind of
I
people in a
mean,
way.
you know, a lot of things, I don't want to say too much, but a lot of things got covered up in the 70s and the 80s by the powers that have a lot of money. You know, they don't want it to get out. It doesn't get out.
Right. And
then-
Kate, as disturbing as this movie is in some aspects with the counselors, like we mentioned earlier that one of the cooks is played by Robert Earl Jones, who is the father of James Earl Jones, you know, like Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. When I heard his voice sounded so similar, very similar.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So,
I was just like, as you were talking about the camps and stuff, I was like, well, I guess not every camp is like the Parent Trap camp where
right.
dreams come
Oh,
true.
Parent Trap. My sisters loved Parent Trap when that came out in like 1998.
I
They had,
loved it.
oh yeah, like
Yeah.
They were obsessed with it, watching it like crazy.
Yeah, I
Oh,
loved
same
it.
with my cousins. When they were younger, they used to watch that a lot.
Oh man, but
Yeah.
The Bible
Yeah.
camp once.
Wait a minute.
Can
You
I
talking
ask
about-
though?
You
Yes.
talking about the original or the one with?
Oh, both.
Lindsay Lohan.
The one for us, it was the one from the
Yeah.
late
I mean,
night.
both of them are good in
Yeah,
their own
the
right.
I did like the Lindsay Lohan one, but
Yeah,
I have to ask, like, were camps actually like that in the States? Because obviously, being British, we don't have stuff like that, like camps where you go away for
Well,
like weeks on end. Like,
lots-
is it
lots-
really
I don't
like
know.
that?
Well,
Did anybody ever
with,
go? I went to church camp.
Yeah,
That's the only camp I went.
Yeah, since everybody's so like with my cousins, they watched the one from the late '90s with Lindsay
I
Lohan.
went
That
to-
was the one they watched.
I
yeah,
went to
camps
a
were a lot
school
like that
camp.
in Parent Trap. Yeah.
I went to a school camp in the 70s, and
The original one was in the early '60s.
it was a
I
pretty
think.
pleasant experience. You know, we made
Yeah.
homemade root beer. You know, we got taught how to make homemade root beer, handling dry ice. We had campfires, ghost stories. You know, with the
Wow.
exception of the mischief of you got the girls' cabins over here and you got the guys' cabins over on the others. You know, and there's a big common area in between the two. A lot of sneaking around going on because, you know, we're in middle school and you got all the, you know,
Yeah.
raging hormones going on, I guess.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like the
then
only camp.
I got kicked out because I got accused of bringing alcohol into the thing. But I was framed.
Oh man.
But
Oh,
the time I was
Jay.
there was pretty pleasant.
That's
Oh, yeah. I was
ended
just
up beating the
asking
shit
because,
out of the
like,
kid later.
oh yeah.
because like we had girl guides and kind of like the boys side, like the Boy Scouts and stuff, but
Yeah,
we're
they were
always
segregated by
separate.
gender.
Yeah.
But
And
there
it was
was
just a
always a way to
weekend.
sneak across. See, there was always a way to
Oh.
sneak back and forth.
So how long are the camps in the States usually? Like how long would you stay away for?
Often they're a week.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're a week. Sometimes they're several weeks. It depends.
Yeah,
like
it depends on the camp itself.
Yeah.
For the type of
camps,
camp.
like because
At
like I
least
said,
3
I
weeks,
went
according to the
camp, though,
trailer.
not the actual summer camps. It was just the camps that I was part of was kind of more of an event camp, if you will.
Right.
So, and they were also kind of more sports related. I could still remember to this day, among one of the times that I was part of it, it was actually for, oh my God. And just before I'm about to tell you, Joe, Chris, and Kay, you guys are going to get a kick out of the camp that I was a part of. It was a golfing camp. And before you guys ask, not one time did we ever yell out, Birdie!
Birdie!
Oh my God.
But no, in all seriousness, though, I actually took part in that, and that was the closest I ever got as far as summer camps are concerned.
Nice.
I mean, did you choose to go to a sports camp or? I didn't think that was your vibe, Nick.
I don't think so either. From what I can remember, and it wasn't just me. My brother also went too. I think my sister did on one occasion.
Like you should have gone to like space camp or paranormal camp or something.
Paranormal camp definitely would.
I still camp. There was actually one time because this was also like a type of event camp that I was a part of. This was one of those type of camps where both guys and girls were allowed to be part of, and I still remember this, like even 20 years later. There was one time we went to the camp and we were just sitting at a desk, just waiting before we started playing golf. And by the way, it was hot as hell that day. It was like 90 degrees. So, and me and my brother, we were sitting together and I was just kind of being very quiet because we were with these other girls that were, and it's like, it's funny to think. I want to say it was almost like we were like half their age, not necessarily half their age, but they had to have been like at least like 10 years older than us. They had to have been somewhere like in their mid to late teens somewhere. And I still remember I felt so alienated being with these older kids. But however, as the day wavered on, I guess I started getting more comfortable and just chatted with them as much as I could. But yep, that's where my golfing experience came from. That's where I've ended up playing golf today.
That's interesting. Like I'm at that age now where I think, how awful would it be to like work as an adult in those camps? Like, can you imagine trying to like segregate the kids, make sure there's no like smoking and
right?
I think it was.
Me and my sister have worked at one.
Really?
Me and my sister Kristen, because it was a summer job. I was an assistant counselor. We were working with kids.
Okay.
And it was it was pretty good experience. No scumbags like you see in this movie, thankfully.
See,
I think I still remember like when I was at camp, I may have stressed some of the guys that were running because some of the guys were like older. Like these were like older guys. Like I think they must have been at least like in their 60s or so. I mean, they were like they were not like what you think though. I mean, they were like grandfather like figures.
Right.
I think I was stressing
not like Mel.
Weirdest thing is, I mean, we used the golf carts, but then eventually we just started going up on foot to some of these things. And I still remember one day that I had to go grab my golfing equipment, and somehow I must have from the rest of the group, and they're like, "Hey, hurry up!"
Oh my god! But
you went to sports camp and everyone was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
So I went to church camp.
Yeah.
So
Chris.
Yeah. Hey, so guys, I wanted to ask you. There were some like very serious kills in this movie. Which one stood out for you most?
I'll tell you. It wasn't a kill. It was just my favorite part of the whole movie. Is when that SOB cook got all that water dumped on him.
Yeah, when he was
all that water, boiling water with the salt in it, just to irritate the wounds even worse.
Yep, that too.
Like, what? That was my favorite part.
Oh man!
But I tell you, if I ever walked into a camp and saw people dressed like they were, I would turn around and beg my parents to take me back.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what about you?
Oh God, that laugh.
Bees!
Oh yeah, of course. Where Bill gets locked inside that bathroom stall and has the beehive dropped on him.
And we could have guessed.
I was gonna say, you know what I should have even said is that I think you and I both know the answer to that.
Yes, I love the effects. I love the effects of like the bee welts, and then like they had the bees completely covering his face.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then that's because also Bill's death is the part of the film where like most of the campers like that were taken away by their parents, until there was just 25 people left on the camp, and so that was like that really set the story forward where it's like this is getting real serious. But let's see. There was like that kill where Meg, who was always mean to Angela, and like it gets killed in the shower by having like the knife went through the shower and like while her back was facing the wall, through that wall and just into her back, going down. Like that was wow.
I'm surprised it didn't paralyze.
That took a lot of strength, you would think.
Yeah, some serious strength would go into that.
Threw stuff at her.
That's not even the most brutal kill. The most brutal of all was what happened to Judy.
Yeah, what was that thing they used? It was
a curling iron.
A curling iron.
Yeah. Ooh.
That. How can we explain it, Don?
A turned on curling iron.
Let's just say it went
down. They stuffed it someplace they shouldn't have.
In other words, where the sun doesn't shine.
Yeah.
Down below.
On high.
It's depicted in shadow. They don't actually show it, but when you watch look at it on shadow, just the way it's pretty obvious where it ended up. Like while the curling iron was on, burning, by the way.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I saw that.
That was
like, oh,
pretty brutal. And it actually, I'll tell you guys something. It was painful for me.
That's horrendous.
It is.
Well, if that's not more horrendous, it was painful for me to watch because I actually have burned myself once on a curling iron.
Oh.
And it was no, it was a curling iron. Yeah, well, thankfully not in that area.
Yeah, whoa,
it was a stupid decision I made back in middle school. I was in tech class and we were using curling irons to like melt like metal and stuff like that. And at one point, what I always did was I would usually take like maybe a cup of water and drop, make a drop just to hear that, just to make sure if it's like hot or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there was one, and I still remember it's like yesterday. I plugged the curling iron in, and I noticed I wasn't feeling the heat coming from it. So as usual, I took a drop of water, dipped it on. I didn't hear that
sizzle.
The sizzle, and this was the dumb thing I did. I put my finger on it, and I just screamed like in the middle. I took it off immediately. Thank God I got rid of it. But I screamed in the entire class. I immediately ran to the sink, put cold water on it. Not necessarily left a burn, but it left a pretty bad blister on my finger. And I'll tell you right now, it is not fun. It's not.
I did that to my arm, Nick.
So. Yeah. And
that scene is painful because of what I gone through back in 8th grade.
Yeah. I should mention the actress that played Judy, who was killed in that brutal manner, Karen Fields. When she's been to conventions, she actually signed. There were a few occasions where I actually did sign a curling iron.
Yes, I'd bring one.
Yeah.
I'd bring one for her. Can you sign?
No,
this?
Jojo. No, I didn't electrocute myself. I burned myself on a curling iron, and it's not fun.
Here, Jojo, did the parents come to pick up their kids? Yes, they did. For the majority of them, until there was just a handful of people left, like 25 people. Yeah. So, but yes, you did mention there was the mutilated dead campers. There was that one scene which I felt was kind of pointless. It feels like the only purpose it had was to just add to the body count. There was one side plot or like a side story where a camp counselor decides to take a bunch of kids to like camp out outside.
Oh yeah,
in the woods. The counselor leaves the little kids unattended. Those little kids, oh my god, they didn't even look like they were 10 years old.
Yeah,
and when he comes back, they're mutilated bodies on the sleeping bags, and he just vomits.
Yeah, no, really.
I felt like that. I felt like the movie could have been done without that. I felt like that was unnecessary.
Right.
There was another film that wanted to do something just like that too, but they decided at the last minute to use older actors for it. And it's actually a classic horror film, which we haven't talked about yet, Don. One I'd like to talk about soon. Suspiria, Dario Argento's Suspiria.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they were originally going to use that movie. That was a film that they were originally going to use kids too, but they changed their minds. Just use people like kids in their late teens, early 20s to do it because they thought if they had actual kids in it would cause a lot of controversy at that. Even then,
it could have. Very well could have.
I also have to ask, why is there always in like 80% of horror movies a scene, usually a death scene, in the shower? Why?
It's paying homage to Psycho.
Psycho, yes, my favorite slasher.
Is that the first ever scene where somebody dies in a shower ever?
Where somebody's being murdered in a shower?
Yeah.
Probably.
I think it is, but it's also one of the first. People always think it's the very first one, not necessarily, but it is one of the first to have people die with their eyes open.
Right. That was such a well
Oh,
shot scene too. Like that scene is just so iconic. That shower
it
scene.
is.
Yes.
There was actually a film 3 years later that kind of imitated that too, and that was another film to talk about at some point too, Don. That was Blood Feast, which
That
was
is
said
true,
to be
Jojo. Very true,
That's
Jojo.
true, Jojo. Yeah, because you're vulnerable. All
Yeah.
your senses, everything. You're naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, no weapons.
Well, you know what? There actually at some point I ought to play one of my other audio stories to you guys because there's even an audio story that pays homage to it too. It's not exactly what you think it is, but it's a story that's called "Why I Didn't Shower for 21 Years." But
What?
It's not what you think. It's not what you think. But it echoes that of Psycho. The only problem is if I ever wanted to play this story. It's a longer story, though. I mean, it's about 20 minutes, but it's a really good story to listen to. It just goes, once again, just how amazingly vulnerable you are when you are in the shower.
Did they have a bath, though?
You know,
They didn't have a shower, but they had a bath.
I also think the other reason Psycho.
You kind of have to listen to the story. I would have to play it for you.
Maybe they just had a wash.
I think that whole thing about Psycho, it had a lot to do with not only was, it a good slasher movie, but it was filmed primarily in black and white.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, and there was, like I said, there was another film that imitated.
And for some reason, a movie like that being filmed in black and white, it adds some kind of intensity or something to it.
It does.
Yes, like the new Godzilla.
One.
Yeah.
That, again, another thing that I was going to try to do, but unfortunately the plans never went through as I was hoping to. I was even trying to put a horror film series of my own together. Don, you remember several years ago we talked about it before, but unfortunately it was just, there would have been a lot more work than what I was hoping. But so I probably told you guys about this before. I mean, all this talk about scary stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, Bill's death in the sleepaway camp. Not the base.
There's a website that I'm a huge fan of, different scary stories. It's called Chilling Tales for Dark Nights.
Yep.
And Don, you remember that website?
I do.
Chris, looks like you're familiar with it. Sounds like you're familiar with it. I actually wanted to make a film series out of that, and what I was going to do, because I wanted to make it like an actual TV, well, not TV series, but wanted to make them in seasons. And the original idea was I wanted to shoot many of these stories in black and white because, first off, it's cheaper. You can hide a lot of the effects. And it's just easier to shoot than you do with color. I mean, eventually I would want to make a transition. I wanted to make a transition to color, but I think black and white would have been great for the series.
I like that idea, man. You should follow through.
Well, it's kind of hard to try to go through with it nowadays. I just couldn't get a lot of resources.
Along with your other movies.
If it ever comes back up again, I'd be more than happy to do it then.
I just happened to interview guys big on horror movies on Sunday.
Yeah.
Making them.
But I was going to say there was another film, because since you also mentioned about Psycho, there was another film that just 3 years afterwards would kind of imitate the shower scene, except funny thing is, you mentioned this yourself, Kate, the bathtub, it involved a killing scene from a movie called Blood Feast, which was said to be the first real splatter film that was released in 1963. And that was, the first death scene is like the shower scene, but it's in a bathtub. And the scenes, and also unlike Psycho, the movie's also in color. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the first movie to actually show gore, but it was the first one where it showed a lot of it on camera.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys, what is the bloodiest, goriest horror movie you've ever seen?
Oh, God.
Because I'm torn between two of them. Dead Alive by Peter Jackson and Piranha 3D.
Okay, I've seen Piranha 3D.
Yeah, that.
So I'll have to put that one up there then, obviously.
Oh yeah, that was the gore. The blood and gore in both those films were insane.
Are we talking? Okay, goriest, bloodiest.
Yes.
Like you said, I mean, if you said that one, I'll have to.
Yeah, it's like I was shocked when I saw Piranha 3D when I was in college, and like when I didn't see it in theaters, I saw it when it came out on DVD Blu-ray, and when I watched that in my dorm, I was like, this was released in theaters.
Yeah, you tell me. I saw it. I saw it in theaters. I was only 17 years old when I watched it.
I watched Piranha 3 Double D.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, that one was horrible. That was so bad.
Yes, it was.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I had to bring that up.
I know.
As far as bloodiest film, I'm kind of torn between two. One of them also was Dead Alive by Peter Jackson.
Yes.
And man, the other one is.
God, I'm trying to think.
It's kind of tough. This is a tough one. I've seen so many of them.
I'm finding it really hard to think because I personally do not like violence and gore. I'm kind of like, I like the other side of fear where it's psychological thriller, ghost stories kind of thing. So I'm trying to think the last thing that shocked me.
Yeah, this one had some pretty good gore.
I haven't seen that one. That is pretty horrendous.
There's one.
Hey, Nick.
Oh, Zombie. Yeah.
There's one I saw. I can't remember the name of it. It was like a B or C, real down to budget level movie.
Yeah.
And I remember there was somebody sitting on the toilet and a giant snake thing came up through her and like ripped her apart.
Oh my God.
And that was really bloody and gory for it.
I'm trying to think, but there is another movie I've been wanting to see that I heard is like extremely bloody. I've seen parts of it. I mean, like from documentaries, but I haven't seen the full film yet. And that's that movie Inside from France.
Oh yeah. And Kate? Yeah, this one is actually from Italy.
Yeah, it's an Italian horror film.
I remember you mentioning that. Yeah,
we
watched it.
Yeah, from the looks of this, we Italians don't really hold back on much gore or disturbing content.
He went all out with that film. It's just and not only that, the music in that film too is great.
I'll be watching it like this.
It's music. I mean, it's not only just creepy; it's actually even beautiful at times. Like it's really good.
Sometimes, yeah. When it shows like tropical scenes, like where they first get their boats and stuff, like that sounded like they had the Caribbean feel to it. That actually, that music did sound good. Yeah, but
it did. They had some. There, in fact, who was the guy that composed that? I can't remember his name.
Let me look.
He still performs that theme song to this day. Don,
music by Fabio Frizzi and Giorgio Tocchi.
Yeah, they perform that music at concerts and stuff. There's even a clip of them performing it. Yeah. And what's even cooler is I found this clip.
Even the background has a picture of a woman being ripped apart by zombies.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, even when I saw it, there's even this performance that you can find on YouTube, this concert performance of them performing the theme song of it. What's even cooler is they even have scenes from the movie playing in the background.
Wow. And now I remember the first violent scenes that I saw as a child, and that was in Jurassic Park.
Oh, Jurassic Park. There you go.
Those are the first violent scenes I remember.
Oh yes, Jurassic Park. That's like, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, Jurassic Park is amazing, and it's the first movie to make $1 billion worldwide.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to say my other bloodiest film I think I've seen so far, but like I've kind of made my decision. It undoubtedly would have to be Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Wait, as in this new
the slasher film?
Is that going to be the oven thing that you talk about?
As in what?
Is it going to be the oven scene that you talk about?
Yeah.
No, not just that. Just the entire movie.
I was saying Thanksgiving as in the new horror movie Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Wow.
It's pretty gory, you gotta admit.
It can be, yeah. It had some disturbing moments, like the oven scene. That was the most disturbing. Man.
That was horrific.
And now it's on Netflix.
And now they're making a sequel.
Of course.
Netflix and kill.
You ain't seen Stuffing yet.
You ain't seen Stuffing yet. I love it. Love it. Last FearFans podcast, Don was telling got so quiet without you and Tom waited. Oh, yeah, it was funny.
That's sweet.
Yeah, basically we're all saying we missed you from the last podcast.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, and
That's nice. Thank you.
Unfortunately, you did miss out my tour of the decorations and lights.
Yeah, I can see still what you're like, Nick. They look good.
Yeah. Sadly, this is all.
Background, but no, it's real life.
It's all coming
sadly,
down.
all this is going to be coming down in pretty much about a week or so. I only intended to keep this up for the first half of July. So after July 15th, everything's coming down.
So it's going to be Halloween next, isn't it? Right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, this. So I said this before. Originally, like people, I know some are probably going to be asking, well, how long have I exactly kept? I put this stuff all up on June 25th. I want to have it up for at least 20 days or so. Well, actually, no, I take that back. June 24th, because June 25th, I had to work that morning, so I just started a day early. So the idea was to have it up for at least a good 20 days, almost like a month long, and then afterwards I was going to take it down. Then, the basement will be back to its normal self, but once the clock strikes midnight, October 1st, Halloween stuff comes up.
Nice.
And I wouldn't be surprised that our grocery store, I can guarantee, because this happens every year, and I feel like I choose the right time to take my stuff down. I can guarantee that maybe a day or two after July 15th, our store and some of the other stores are most likely going to start selling Halloween decorations. It's like, as soon as that hits, it's coming, guys.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Oh,
brace
and
yourselves.
Red, white, and blue, like Dr. Seuss.
Hey, Kate, I'm really hoping that you'll be joining us next week, because I already got a real good one for.
What is it?
It's something that's been requested by one of my subscribers, and it's the 1986 remake of The Fly.
Oh, nice. Yes, of course. I'll definitely be joining. Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, Gina
Gosh,
Davis.
I remember the original. That was like
Vincent Price from
groundbreaking.
1958.
Yeah, Vincent Price. What a legend.
That was on TV the other day.
The original?
Yeah.
There is only one thing I'm surprised you didn't do this year, Don, because, I mean, I get the understanding for Sleepaway Camp, but I'm surprised you didn't choose another shark movie, because right now it's Shark Week on the Discovery Channel.
I know. I just wanted to see if I can. I was saving one of those for after this one.
Well, if you think about it, even if it's after Shark Week, their rival Shark Fest on National Geographic, they go for like 2-3 weeks. So even if you don't do it for the Discovery Channel Shark Week, you at least do it for National Geographic's Shark Fest.
Yep, Sharknado for in honor of Tom.
Wait, I gotta say something about that, because damn it, we should have contacted Don about this last night.
Wait. Sharktopus. He would love that. He would love it.
So last night, Don, I'm surprised, Kate, we didn't get a hold of Don about this. Tom was giving a free "This Is Tom's World" T-shirt.
Yeah,
I saw that.
You saw it, and so
I was on a live
brought
stream.
up at one point he brings up me. He thought that I wasn't in the comments anymore. I was like, no, I'm still here. I've also been watching Shark Week. He's like, oh, it's been Shark Week already? Yep. It's like, oh, geez, you know what that means? Sharknado, basically. And can you imagine if we had a watch party, saying if we watched like a movie or something, like this is what we're gonna watch, and then the very last second we change it to Sharknado.
Wait, we still got to cover Abigail.
Abigail, yeah.
Have you
that's
seen
a
Abigail?
good one. I've seen it. Yeah, that's a good one today.
Oh yes,
I'm gonna have to go rewatch it.
I'm glad that more people have been able to see it. Maybe,
I like the whole Conjuring world. Thing.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. So I also saw one other. Go ahead, Don. Go on.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe we should do Abigail after we do The Fly. Figure we should cover some more modern stuff as well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of Antlers. I'm thinking
Antlers. Yes.
Yeah, that one which focuses on a Wendigo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. On my alley.
In case you're, I don't know if you've heard of a Wendigo, Kate, but it's part of like a Native American folklore. But
no, I haven't heard that one.
You explain it.
So, because I'm usually the one who explains a lot about these cryptids and stuff like that, and I'm not only just saying this, from shows. I mean, this is basically so. The Wendigo, it's a malevolent spirit literally brought into life by what is considered one of the most evil acts committed by humans. That's cannibalism. and they've been in part and parcel with Native American culture since time immemorial. And how it usually starts, it usually begins with a human who has kind of been depraved or had started consuming human flesh. And it's those cannibalistic tendencies that causes them to turn into this monster. Now, there are some different versions of like what the Wendigo is. Some people say, there's some descriptions say it's like hey, Jeremy. Some people say it's like described as like a type of Bigfoot, from some reports. There's others who say that it almost looks like a zombie almost because it's like horribly emaciated. But the most classic version of the Wendigo is usually like a deer-like creature. It's like it has a humanoid body with an intense like emaciated rib cage with a deer's head. It's huge too. It's well over like standing up to 15 feet tall. Yep, there you go.
There you go.
That's what the Wendigo
Oh
looks
my
like.
goodness.
It's the most
That's
classic version
scary.
of it. To me, if that's not bad enough, the Wendigo, the Wendigo is insatiable. It wants flesh. It wants to eat. And in some versions, it is said that when it consumes a human corpse, it actually grows bigger. And the worst part of it is, not only does it grow bigger, so does its stomach. So what looks almost like an all-you-can-eat buffet for this creature is nothing but a crumb to it when it eats. So therefore, it is never full. It is never satisfied by the amount of how much it eats.
Yes,
So,
and I believe the term Wendigo translates to evil that devours.
Exactly. And I mean, everything about it is based on its monstrosity, its deviation from mankind. And to make matter, if that's not even bad enough to make matters worse, this creature, it can literally move between time and space to be where its victims are. And so when the Wendigo has its sights on you, there is no escape.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like an actual being or if it's more like a kind of symbolism, like all of the evils in the world, and like it just grows and grows and grows the more that people succumb to it. I don't know.
It's kind of hard to say. However, and it's definitely should be noted, there actually is a psychological side to it too, because there's actually a lot of people out there who think the Algonquin tales of the Wendigo have more to do with mental health than it does with cannibalism, because there actually is a type of psychosis that's called Wendigo psychosis. That's often described. I mean, I'm not really much of a psychologist myself, but I've read enough to a point to where I think I understand what it is. It can be described as a very extreme form of cabin fever. Typically, what happens in a Wendigo psychosis is that someone is trapped or isolated with a group of people for very, very long periods of time. They may have plenty of food, water, supplies, nourishment, provision to eat. And what happens is eventually, as time goes on, they start to develop into the belief that they're going to turn into a monster and cannibalize the people around them. So it can become a very, very dangerous delusion. I mean, you can think of the Wendigo psychosis as a form of compulsion. It's like once they get a taste of the human flesh, they're always going to want to eat it. They're always going to want more of it. They'll never get enough. So in a way, this could be seen as something similar to such as drug addiction.
Yeah, that's very true. Interesting.
Yeah. It's also but for the actual entity itself, it's also known to be kind of an entity that's associated with the mountains, especially up in the northern states in Canada. Right. So like Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin, believe it or not.
Which would make sense because of the cabin fever and gas resources and everything.
Yes, and in Antlers, this Wendigo in particular is absolutely terrifying. Like seriously, a lot of websites have been now like listing it in their top scariest movie monsters.
Wow. And they go down detailed to the actual like appearance of what a Wendigo, how it acts, how it looks. And there was even Don, you remember this show because I remember you used to watch it. There was actually, it wasn't a real show, but it was still creepy though. There was actually a paranormal cryptid series out there that was called Lost Tapes. Yes. And they did an episode on the Wendigo, which was called Wendigo American Cannibal. And I love the ending of the episode, like how they said it, because what they said is pretty much accurate. As they say in the end of the episode, tales of the Wendigo persist throughout the northern states in Canada, echoing through the mountains like an age-old question, which is, do they live among us?
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Just to answer, Thomas, thank you so much for asking. I had a lovely time in Japan. We went to Tokyo, Osaka, Nara, Kyoto. It was all great. Thank you. Really cool. Beautiful country. Totally
Too bad you weren't able to
crazy, but cool.
Too bad you weren't able to see Irene and Amanda while you guys were there.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just like with schedules and yeah, my daughter getting incredibly travel sick. Oh my God, on the Shinkansen, on the bullet train, we had to deal with a lot of throwing up because they're not smooth. They're like this.
Oh, I can imagine.
Like, they're
hey,
really
Donald.
crazy.
What's up, Donald?
Hey, Donald.
Hey.
Hi, Donald.
Yes, and also, Nick, I gotta get a hold of Irene because, one our viewer, Dead Souls, she sent me like some of the pictures of the Pokemon cards she has. One of them is in Japanese. I was thinking I can like send one of those pictures, that picture to Irene, and like see if I can get it translated.
Sure,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was able to translate parts of it, but I want to see if I can get all of it. Yeah, so
yeah,
I don't know. It's just a thought. Yeah, it's just a thought. Oh, we mentioned before about what they used like for Angela's like for the masks for that guy to wear to so they would have like Angela's face on like on a nude male at the end. I actually found pictures of the mask, like how they made it here.
Donald's in Florida.
What?
Nice.
Oh, sweet. Here, let me just share this one. Yeah, this is like the mask when they final thing.
I've never seen this before.
Yep. They created that mold from Felissa Rose's face when she was making that expression.
That's
and I
crazy.
like how she's standing right next to the mask.
I know. I was gonna say.
I know. And to this day, she still likes to make that face. Hang on one second. There it is.
Yep, there we go. There it is. Still does it.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I had a friend of mine
I've been told that she's such a nice person to meet. So if I'm ever at a horror next time I'm at a horror convention and she's there, I would love to meet her. She really seems like an awesome person.
Just don't make fun of her.
I know. She puts you 6 feet under if you do.
Right.
I think she's a frequent guest at I think it's Texas Frightmare Weekend. I think she's gone numerous times. I think she's a frequent guest there.
Yeah, Sandy. Like,
Donald missed the podcast. Well, hopefully we'll have you back soon, Donald.
Hopefully, man. Yeah. Hey, you're welcome back here anytime. You know, like I always post.
This is one of his favorites.
Oh man. Well, hey, you're welcome. Like I said, Donald, you're welcome back anytime. Like you're on the chat, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's on the chat.
Okay, so yeah, I always post the link. So like I said, it's there whenever you want to join. Yeah. So. Yeah, like I said, Sleepaway Camp, awesome movie, but the ending is just messed up when it's just the idea of the aunt forcing someone into a different gender identity, you know?
Right.
Like it's like
I never thought about that back then though. I really didn't when I first saw it. It's like, oh wow. It's just his sister. And now when you bring it up and you look at it, it's a whole different because of everything.
I know.
I mean, it's just probably just another one of the best examples for, or if not one of the best examples for like a true teen slasher film.
Yeah,
you know, from that time instead of the other slasher movies where you had typical college age kids portraying teenagers. When in this film, it's actually a lot more legit.
Yes, and these were all local kids in New York who were like attending like these everything that was acting like there were these acting classes in their high schools. There were like these camps that their director was in fact a film student at the time. You know, so he was even despite his inexperience, he was able to pull all this off and make it actually look like a legitimate camp and bring it to life as a horror movie. It was insane.
Really good job.
And he couldn't have done it at a more perfect time too. When
Right.
again, when slasher films were huge.
Oh yeah, but
Well,
crazy thing
that
is,
film probably wouldn't survive today's market with as much of pedophiles and stuff were in that film.
yeah.
Yeah.
But crazy thing, the director, I'm trying to remember what his name was.
Hirschlitz or something.
Hirschlick, I think.
He's the one that got the inheritance from his mother.
Yes, yeah, it was, and yeah, he was. He didn't even make another movie until about 20 years later with Return to Sleepaway Camp, which which was delayed release for 5 years because they were still trying to like get some visual effects right, I guess. But what I do like, it's like even though that movie is inferior, I do like the whole gag where they had Isaac Hayes play a chef because obviously, obviously an homage to Chef from South Park. God,
Where the hell was him saying hello there, children?
I know
that would have been awesome.
Seriously, I miss him. I miss Isaac Hayes.
Oh man, yeah. See, that's the other thing too about these slasher films is that you also at times had like some of these big names being part of these movies, and that's just something. It's just something you just don't see anymore. That's the sad part about. But I will admit, though, I mean, correct me if you were already talked about this, Don, is that one thing that this film certainly did leave an impression on, not only just another addition from that era, but more importantly, it left Felissa Rose as an official Scream Queen. Especially with that wonderful, like that shot you just showed, that's what labeled her Scream Queen.
For sure, yes. And I mentioned this to them in the beginning, Nick. I wanted to mention this to you, but yeah, I actually did know about the twist ending. It was kind of spoiled for me, like when I was 12 watching Robot Chicken.
Well, you know what? That was kind of the same thing for me, but not with Robot Chicken. I saw a documentary, a slasher film documentary that they go into pieces, the rise and fall of slasher films, which Felissa Rose is interviewed in. And unfortunately, I discovered about that before I watched the film.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you hear Seth Green like just, and yeah, I hear you, Nick. But in that sketch where they were like going over Hollywood twist endings, and Seth Green was like, "Oh my God, Angela was the killer, and she's really a boy." And I'm like, if this is really what happens in Sleepaway Camp, then, damn you, Seth Green.
Yeah, really.
Damn you, Seth Green.
But yeah, Seth Green, I like him. He's hilarious.
My fist at you.
Oh man, but God, that Robot Chicken rip off about Blue's Clues a long time ago. Yeah, like Seth Green like has no limitations to what he will make fun of in Robot Chicken.
I mean, he'll go for anything.
He will. There was an episode where there was a sketch he did where he had almost all of NSYNC killed.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then Joey Fatone had to go avenge them in like martial arts, being trained by Pat Morita from Karate Kid.
I haven't seen that one in years.
Miyagi.
That one.
Mr. Miyagi, yes. Yeah. I was just like, whoa, this is crazy.
That's Robot Chicken
was
for you, though.
Arnold in Happy Days too.
Seeing that ripoff made me.
Oh,
But he loves paradising action figures and stuff from like the 80s. Like I've seen a lot of He-Man, I've seen a lot of Ninja Turtles, I've seen all sorts of things depicted in Robot Chicken.
How close are you guys to Madison, Indiana?
I just found the skit. That was called Enter the Fat One.
She's gonna be in Madison, Indiana in October.
Oh,
if y'all want to go, or at the Ohio.
Stay away from there.
Where?
Madison, Indiana. If you
they might arrest me.
Oh.
If I get that close, I might actually punch the dude.
And she was just in Denver.
Oh wait, who are you talking? Who are you talking about?
Felissa Rose.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I thought you were talking about Seth Green.
No.
Oh, Seth Green.
Rose.
Yeah, Joe doesn't like Seth Green.
Yeah,
but there's just something about him I don't like. I mean, yeah, okay, some of his stuff's funny, but there's just something about him.
Joe,
I just want to punch.
I know exactly what you mean. Nicolas Cage. I know how you feel. You don't need to validate yourself. I know.
What's wrong with me? I'm the best. Just ask my Uncle Francis Ford Coppola. He'll vouch for me.
Okay.
So we've got Nicolas Cage and Seth Green on the ban list.
So now you find the Nicolas Cage horror movies. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but the only difference, Kate, is that he's not in Madison, Indiana, though.
Yeah.
True.
Oh no, that's Felicia Rose that's in Madison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, Nicolas Cage is now.
Take a trip.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I would love, seriously, I would love to meet her. She seems awesome. Like on Felicia Rose. I've seen her in interviews. She seems like an absolute joy.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, I had another friend of mine she doesn't live in the area anymore, but when she did, she went down to Texas Frightmare Weekend in Texas, and she got to get with that face too, and she said she was really nice.
Yeah, because Dead Souls said that she met her once.
Oh nice.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, Dead Souls. She said that Felicia Rose was amazing to her. So, and
I think she's from what I heard is I think she's someone who loves her fans.
Oh, totally. Yes.
She was just in
It's
Denver.
like-
Damn it.
She's like, I'm sure she's very proud of that. Even after like with a film that she started in, like not knowing what kind of success this would have, but then 4 decades later, it's still beloved by so many horror fans.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
No, yeah, she's definitely proud of her work.
Yeah, what an achievement, honestly.
Yes. I mean, and this
Nick
movie
Cage.
actually, I looked it up. I just double checked recently. This movie has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, yeah, nice
Wow.
to see that. Yeah, I didn't even think Rotten Tomatoes would really love it that much. Wow.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah. So, I
Nick,
see your background now.
Get that abomination off of your background.
Oh yeah. Oh, hey, Kate, what would you say if I told you that Nicolas Cage is now playing a serial killer in an upcoming movie called Long Legs?
I got your back,
seriously.
Kate. I got your back, Kate.
Oh,
I can't
that's
help.
better.
Here.
That's better, Chris.
Yep.
I can't believe, is he making a comeback? Because I haven't
guess.
seen him around in a decade.
I guess,
A
but
decade.
in the new movie, Long Legs, where he's playing a killer, it's like,
Oh, that's right.
I have a bloodlust that cannot be quenched.
Okay, I would actually watch it just to see if his acting has elevated a little
Right.
bit over the last
doubt it.
decade.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, in early there have been early screenings for it, and people are comparing it to Silence of the Lambs, and I'm like, wow, they're actually comparing it to that gem.
What?
What?
And
Wow.
yeah, here,
Like,
go
long
back.
legs?
Yeah,
What?
Long Legs. Let me look it up. It's got a 7.9 on IMDb and 94%
Anthony
around.
Hopkins and Nicolas Cage. Like,
Yes.
how?
Nicolas Cage as Anthony Hopkins.
That's kind of
How?
an imaginary
Yeah, I did not. I would never expected.
combination.
Yeah, I never would have expected Nicolas Cage to play like a real serious, mass murderer. But
Come on, he was
Wow.
almost
Well,
Superman.
he was in Wicker Man, wasn't he? Like, I wonder if
yeah,
he's
but he didn't play a killer.
gonna,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if he's gonna be the same person, or is he gonna, pull out all the stops and
Yeah.
surprise everybody?
As long as he doesn't spew out anything cheesy, like calling somebody the Rocket Man.
Or when he cut and lined in a pharmacy and said all that crazy stuff in Matchstick Men.
Oh, Jesus.
Right?
Man.
Come on, the man was almost Superman. Give him some credit.
Wait, what? Christ, that background. Glad I was able to shock you there, Sati.
There you go. Yeah, so next week The Fly, and I'm hoping the week after that, even though I will be on vacation, I'm going to try to see if I'm going to be able to squeeze in like the usual, like 8 be on it like at 8:30, like
Oh,
from
nice. Where are you going, Don?
up north to Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Going to the lake.
The lake house.
Yes.
Nice.
And-
Do you not get scared though because of all the horror films you've seen and lake houses? No? Okay.
He says, I'll be right back.
I would be terrified to stay at a lake house.
He's
I've
just
seen
gotta-
too many horror movies.
He's just got to worry about bears and Bigfoot.
And
Yeah. And maybe
And depending on how far north he goes,
Oh,
he's got to worry about moose and maybe wolves.
and
And-
maybe a Wendigo or two.
Yeah, and it would be the perfect opportunity for me to test this out.
What's that?
Oh, he got a
what's
drone
that?
just like mine.
A drone.
Wow, we got a drone.
Holy cow! You got a drone done? You never
Yep.
told me about that.
Awesome.
I just got it yesterday.
He got
That's
one just like
awesome.
mine, pretty much.
Nice.
I haven't even opened it yet. I'm planning on doing a unboxing video soon.
Is it one of those idiot-proof ones where
Hopefully.
it's got sensors so it's crash-proof?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, you know.
Oh my gosh!
That's
Oh
so
yeah,
cool,
that's
Don.
right, Jeremy. Not holy cow, holy stone.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh,
yes,
I'm just
holy
gonna-
Can't wait! I can't wait to see what kind of shots I can get off of that
It's
of that
not
town.
much different than the one
Yeah.
I've got.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well, I'm
Joe's
just
got a
gonna-
similar one.
Yes.
I haven't taken it out of the box yet. Well, I just opened it to read the instructions.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited about trying this.
That's cool.
So, yeah, got that little forward too when I'm up there.
Yeah, that's so cool. You have to keep us posted. Send us some shots.
Oh yes, I plan on filming with it. I plan on doing like some vlogs while I'm up there. It's something I've never attempted before in a while, so it's been a while since I've even attempted doing vlogs. So yeah, well, I figured.
Oh, I look forward to that. That would be so cool.
That'll
Yes.
be cool.
Totally.
Well, hopefully, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Hopefully, like when you show me, Don, hopefully I don't get scared by it. Because there actually is a video out there, believe it or not, in which I got scared by a drone.
Oh man.
I'm actually trying to look for that video right now. It was during an investigation, but it was unintentional, but it was funny as hell that I didn't expect this drone to like show up out of nowhere.
Oh, I think I was there when that happened. Yes.
No, you weren't. This was out in Indiana.
Okay. Oh wait. No, I'm thinking about somebody else. Never mind.
I was at the Bell Mansion for that one, and that was Ricky Howard. He was trying to shoot a video, I think for like a documentary or something. And while the video was being shot, he's like, the drone's going up slowly, and so I unintentionally walked out, and there he was. I get startled by seeing this drone right in front of me. Like, whoa, jeez, where the hell did this thing come from? They had to reshoot that scene.
Nice.
I like how Don was like, "Oh, don't worry, that was somebody else." Like it's a common thing.
I know.
No, it was. See, it's too
only
bad
Nick
Tom
gets it.
Nicholas wasn't watching because he would be basically speaking with me on that. Say, yeah, you got scared by a drone once. Remember that, Nick?
I think the police use drones though, because I see loads of
They do.
drones around here.
They do.
Yeah,
They do.
Yeah.
I've been to a
Good idea.
Oh yeah, I think some parts of Lake Michigan they actually use drones to patrol the beaches at night.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think they do.
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
they
watching one of those cops things and somebody shot one down because they were like spying on them. So they shot the
Right.
cop
That
down.
has happened. That has happened. Yes.
Yeah.
They also use them too, I think, for like by the fire department, I think, like where like they have to like film them like from above so they don't have to like use actual helicopters or anything like that to put
Right.
people at risk.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's faster, cheaper, and easier to get a drone up in the air than it is to get a helicopter up in the air.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I can totally understand the fire department using it, the police department using those.
Yeah,
They've
totally.
got all kinds of uses. I mean,
Yeah.
photography studios are using them to do weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
So yeah, I believe this thing will definitely have many good uses. So
That's
I'm
cool.
excited.
That's
maybe
cool.
you'll catch a Bigfoot up here
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You never know.
if you're anywhere near the where the Kettle Moraine Forest goes through.
Oh yeah. Hey, I just remembered all this Bigfoot talk. I just remembered. I was doing like research on Star Wars movies, and when they were doing the filming Return of the Jedi, the actor who was dressed up as the Wookiee, when they were filming out in California, he had to stay very close with the crew because they were afraid that if he went off on his own, then some hunters would come across him and mistake him for Bigfoot.
Oh,
That's funny. You know what they should have? You know what they should have had was they should have had a bag of Jack League's beef jerky.
yeah, but when they were filming that didn't exist.
Yeah,
They
it's
needed
true.
Nick sticks.
Yeah.
You know, did you guys see, by the way? They brought them back. The Jack League's beef jerky messing with Sasquatch commercials.
Yes, they did.
So So, long story short, I was watching Shark Week, and I had to, of course, go through the commercial break. And as I'm fast forward, I'm like, I thought I saw something with Jacqueline's beef jerky. Like, wait a minute. Like, and I really had to, like, am I actually seeing this? Am I dreaming? Is this a real thing or is this a dream here? And I went back, and there it was. And oh my God. They still got it after all these years. I'm so happy they brought it back.
Those are good.
I can just imagine Don in like the lake house, and he's like throwing his drone like a Pokemon, like, "Go, I choose you," and he's like,
I'm like tossing it up to the air, and then I quickly control it, activate it, and just like,
yeah.
Is it controlled by your phone?
It can be.
Nice.
And it can evolve.
Mega drone. No, no, wait. It's final form. It evolves into a helicopter I can just fly around on.
that sounds more to me like a
one-person
Transformer than a Pokemon, then, Don, because that is mechanical. So it sounds more like a Transformer.
Yeah, maybe.
It evolves up.
And all this talk about drones. So I got to just throw this out because you guys will get a kick out of hearing this. I actually witnessed a drone getting damaged at one point because last year I was out with Tom McNicholas, and we went to the we were invited, in fact, by Keith H to be part of a paranormal investigation they had at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne. So when we went there that night, first off, unfortunately, this was like in the middle of in the later part of August, and the problem was their air conditioning went out. It was humid out that day, but to make matters worse, with no air conditioning, it was hot as hell in this place. We had to take several breaks to go outside.
We had to take all our clothes off.
No, thank God we didn't have to do that.
Thank goodness.
We had to go outside to get a lot of cool air as much as we could. But while we're outside, we had these guys, because there were other investigators and groups that were there. Some of them actually came all the way from Ohio to this. So sorry, I'm just laughing already about it, just thinking about it. But so we're sitting outside, and I'm sitting out talking with the other investigators, and there were some guys that were testing out a drone. Now, the drone that they had, it was not like yours now. This was like a huge one, like the ones again, like they use for especially. So like a big drone, and they're flying it off. It's nighttime, and we're not thinking too much about it. We're still chatting, and then all of a sudden, because there were probably must have been a dozen people around the porch area when we were chatting. All of a sudden I'm hearing no, and I look over quickly, and all of a sudden I'm doing that too. Tom was the last one who saw what happened. Was the guys who were piloting the drone. I don't know what could have gone wrong, but the drone, there was a building right next to the mansion, and the drone literally hit the side of the building. It flipped upside down. It hit the side of the building, and it goes down 20, 25, 30 feet down, flips upside down at least 2 times. It's like rolling on the wall, and and it eventually lands on a bush. But to make matters worse, it also landed on the tail end of a car. So,
oh my God,
insane.
Drone's gone wrong.
And this was like,
Drone's gone rogue.
We were like, that drone is gone.
Yeah.
Dressed up as a ghoul for Don. Oh, that's my scary stories host character, Santi.
Yeah.
But no, it fell down. It damaged part of it. It damaged parts of the drone, as you can imagine. When they picked it up, already several parts of it was broken.
Oh, man.
And this was a really expensive drone. It was like, it had to have been probably like a $1,500 drone.
My friend
that wasn't bad enough. These guys that were using this drone, they were renting it. So you can also imagine too how much it was going to have to be when they had to return it back. And they said it was going to cost probably like another $2,000 for repair.
Yeah.
So they had to pay almost like $3,500 for this entire drone.
Jeez, I thought you said it was going to go in one of the windows of that building. And
No, it didn't. It didn't hit. Thankfully, there were no windows on the side of the building. It was all bricks.
But that probably sucks worse.
Right.
Hell yeah, it was, because it was rolling on the brick side of the wall, and it was heavily damaged. I don't know what it is, but it was crazy. Ricky then said another joke, but I can't say the joke though because it would be kind of offensive. I can tell you guys backstage, but I can't say it on live because I don't want to cause any controversy.
No controversial comments allowed on the show.
Well, not just this show. I'm talking about any show. I can't say it at all.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's going to be it for this edition of the FearFans podcast. Please join us next week as we will be covering the remake of The Fly. You know, one of arguably my favorite David Cronenberg film. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Just to kind of end this with a good laugh, I found that clip of me being startled by a drone. Speaking of which, you guys want to see it quickly? It's only 10 seconds. There's no sound to it, so.
Okay.
Well, you guys will like this.
All right, load it.
Fast and hurry.
I just realized they have the Jaws theme playing on this.
That's freaking awesome.
We need a slow-mo, a really slow-mo of Nick just like.
Put it back slow-mo.
Yep, that's funny. Ricky for you.
That's awesome.
Nice. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the FearFans podcast, and we'll see you guys again next week, covering one of my favorite horror movies.
Bye.
Bye.